Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of my sketchbook video series. And where to start? That was the first question. I decided to start on this page here because it is really where I started understanding how to develop a system for drawing faces that will always work and will give me realistic proportions and will also allow me to create variations, because as we know, all people don't look the same, and some people have big chins, some people have smaller chins, some people have big noses, small noses, etc. That's what makes the world go round, all the variations, and just the fact that people look different is awesome. So I wanted a system that when I drew a face, I knew it was going to look correct. And if I wanted to change it somehow, I would have the ability to change it and create my own characters. For instance, if I was creating a story or a comic or something like that, I wanted to be able to draw faces consistently and have a method to do that. So let's go back one page. Now these, I created these for my live lessons, in-class lessons, and I developed them on March 14th of 2022. And let's turn back one page. Here I developed a little thing that I call the boat, because in my mind it looks like a little rowboat down on the water. If I'm a bird flying over the water, it looks like a boat, and there's the front of the boat and there's the back of the boat. And I just developed this sheet so my students could practice, drawing this boat shape and dividing it into 3 areas, which I've shown on another lesson, how to draw a perfect face every time. And so that was kind of the start of it. And then I drew these examples here, and hopefully today we'll have enough time to go over this face too. Now some things will be repeated, but that's great because repetition reinforces things, and even though humans are great at remembering, we're even better at forgetting. So hearing information over and over. Now, the other thing I'll say in this first episode here of my sketchbook video series is if somebody has a different idea or thinks something I've said is wrong, hey, leave me a comment. Let's debate about it. I'm not saying I know everything at all. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who have great ideas for drawing and better methods than me, but mine work, and they seem to work really well, especially for new artists. So let's have that debate. If you have a good idea or a different opinion, throw it at me. Now let's have a look at these, and we'll just go over at what information here is on this sheet. All right, let's look at these top 2 drawings and go over the information. Now, for me, I generally draw a head that is 6 units wide and 10 units tall. And it looks like I'm using 1/4 of an inch as my unit. So these areas would be 3/4 of an inch here, here, and here, and then the top portion of the head would be 1/4 inch. And if this is 3/4 and this is 3/4, that whole distance would be 1 inch, 1.5 inches. As you know, the 3-area face is from the hairline to the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. Then we have a dotted center line here, and then I've used my slanted rectangle shape for the eyes, a little nose bridge, a couple of lines here, and then these 2 lines here are a little system I developed to block in eyes, and all I'm doing is just drawing 2 downstrokes. And I realize an iris is round, but it was a quick and efficient way for me to put in the irises just using this simple placeholder. And then I've done a couple of different eyebrows here, basically just blocks like that. Maybe I can do one, well, let me see if I can do this here. Just out and a little V like that. So that was my basic eyebrow placeholder. This one's a little more squared off, but I'll angle it too. For the nose, I just have my little M here that I like to draw. That works perfect for a placeholder, and then we can turn it into the super M, and I'll show you that in a bit. Next, I have 2 different styles of ears. I have my 3-line ear here, and over here I have a 4-line ear that I use. Now, to draw the cheekbone, the widest part of the face, I just use this little chevron shape like that, and I put it just below the eyes, and that represents the cheekbones quite well. And then here in this area here, we have the mouth, and what I like to use for the mouth is a flattened diamond. So it would be, let me see if I can put it over here. If this is the mouth opening, then I just put a flat diamond as my placeholder for the mouth. There's the center line. Okay, so that's what I use to initially start a mouth, and then I just cut out the little Cupid's bow here, right here, like that. And I can either leave the bottom lip round, or I can also cut out a chunk on the bottom like that, depending on the style of mouth that I want. Now, placing the mouth, what I do is I find the area between the bottom of the nose and the bottom of the chin. I cut it in half, like I've done here, and then I place the mouth opening above this halfway line. The mouth opening is always closer to the nose than it is to the bottom of the chin, unless somebody would be injured or deformed or something like that. So the mouth opening is always closer to the bottom of the nose. And then I will draw that flattened diamond like that, and then I will start to carve out the lips as I see. Now, the jaw generally will start coming inwards in line with the mouth opening. So I'll start here and slant it in. Whether I'm doing a manga style pointy chin or a big jawed character like this, a square jawed character, I usually have it come in at the mouth opening. Now, a lot of times on manga drawings, I'll have the jaw come in right from the ear or the bottom of the nose. Here I have it kind of halfway between the bottom of the nose and the mouth opening here. You can see I have it coming in a little early, whereas in this drawing here I have the mouth opening coming in right at the mouth. Now over here there's a couple of new features. I have my little shape that I've developed for drawing female eyebrows, and it's this. Now I'm going to fill it in after with lashes, but when I'm just laying out the placeholder shapes, that's the shape that I draw. Here I did a different style of eye. I basically did this like that, up and over. So it's basically starts at the tear duct, goes up and comes over like that. And obviously for the other eye it would just go the other way, so up and like that. And that works really well. Here I did a different style of nose where I just did two little chevrons like that and then drew in a little angled line for the nostrils. Okay. And then I started with my flattened diamond here, but obviously it was bigger so I could have wider lips on this character. I did do a very pointy, and also notice here I have the hairline to eyebrow as one area, eyebrow to bottom of nose is an equal length, but I shortened the distance from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin to give it a more cute look on the face, and that's common in manga to have a shorter chin area. So it's less than 1/3 here. I also have given this character a very thin neck to make it look more feminine, or you can use a thin neck to make somebody look younger, boy or girl. So I think that's it. Oh, and then also, yeah, here I dropped the ears a little bit and gave them the 4-line ear like that. All right, so let's move my book up here so we can see this drawing. All right, so obviously this is a male character. I've given it thicker eyebrows, and basically I will always start under this line with my eyebrow. And nowadays I'm actually moving my eyebrows over in a little more like that, starting them in like that. But this is a stylized drawing, so it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to make these drawings look realistic. I'm just trying to make them work. And you can tell by the eyes, this is a very stylized face. And I'll talk more about the proportions here in a second. Let's go over the main features of this face. We have our 3 areas here, okay, and I have my 4-line ears, and then I use this little number 5 shape. Well, I guess that would be a number 5, and this is a backwards number 5 inside the ear, like that. So imagine it's a 5 anyway. And then I add the cheekbones right below the eyes, like that. Now I also have added the hairline. I did in the other drawings too, and actually let's take another look at them for a second, because I have two styles of hairlines here. I have what I call my basic hairline, and here I just modified it, simplified it a bit. In, out, across, in and out. But if we take another look at this drawing here, this is my standard hairline that I use. I come about halfway through the ear, just a little less than halfway, I guess, or more than halfway if we're starting from the top. And I come in and create what I call the sideburn. And then most people's hair just comes in a little bit over the eyebrow, then goes back out, and then comes up to the hairline. And in this character, I've kind of given them a widow's peak, like that little point. Some people it goes straight across, some people it kind of rounds down. But anyway, on this one here, I've given it a little widow's peak here like that. And then same on the other side. Sideburns in over the eyebrow, back out, and then whatever type of hair, top hairline that they have. We've talked about the eyebrows, and here I've just done basic shading. I wasn't really trying to create eyebrows here. The bridge of the nose. Now, the deepest point on a person's nose, generally, but not always, is in line with the top eyelid of an eye. And that's a great little trick to know, especially if you're drawing a profile face or a 3/4. The deepest point of the nose is, it's in line with the top eyelid, I should say. You can see here I started off with my slanted rectangles, and then I carved out the eye the way I taught in my eye drawing lesson video. Just remember that the iris of the eye is normally covered by the top eyelid a little bit when a person's in a relaxed state. Now, I showed earlier what I called my M nose, my little placeholder. I used the letter M there. That's a great way to just put a nose in place, and I call this my super M. Out, in, back down, across like that, or sometimes I'll just have it come straight in as a point here. But anyway, this is my super M. Boom, 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 boom. And then these two little nostrils, I think of them as the number 6. So let me see if I have some room here. I'll do this one here, and the number 6. Like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Can you envision a number 6 there? And then the same thing on the other side, like this, kind of like a backwards 6. Okay, maybe more angled like that, like flatter. But anyway, you get the idea. So I use that number 6 inside for the nostrils. Simple placeholders, works really good. And then from the cheekbones here, I've created a rhythm line that you'll see in a lot of faces, like a shadow. This is created by the jaw and the cheekbone here. There's a little hollow in the face where there's no bone right there. And then this is the kind of smile line that comes out, comes down from the nose. So those are a couple little rhythm lines you can put in when you're drawing your faces. And I'm going to put that out to the edge of the nose a little better. So when I go back and look over drawings that I've done years ago, I'll often update them and fix them when I see errors that I've omitted or whatever. Now, here's my flattened diamond for the mouth. Remember, from the bottom of the nose, bottom of the chin, find halfway, put the opening of the mouth above it like that, and then put in the flattened diamond. And here's a little shape I use. I have a flat mouth opening here, but I just kind of create a seagull shape like that. And that works really good for more detail on the mouth. Okay. And here on the jaw, I found the mouth opening and then came in. I'm a little bit below the mouth opening, but that works totally fine for me. And then I've given this character a pretty solid neck, not totally the width of the jaw, but a pretty solid neck. And I think that, so now we're going to talk about the eye proportion. As you can see in these drawings that I'm showing you here, they look stylized. There's something about them. And I'll tell you one thing about all of these, is they are stylized, and it's the ratio between this section of the eye and from the eyebrow to the nose. So the way I measure things when I'm doing eyes is I look from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom lid of the eye. And whatever that distance is, I multiply it by 3.5 if I want a realistic eye. Now in this particular drawing here, from here to here is about 12 millimeters, and from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose is 37 millimeters. Do a little math. 12 over 37 is about 32.43% of the total area from here to here. So it's just a little over 30%. And anything over 30% is going to look stylized or cartoon or manga-ish, okay? Because realistic eyes, the distance from the lower lid of the lower edge of the eyebrow to the lower lid of the eye is usually less than 30% of the total distance from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. This here is 32%, and that's a little much, and it's looking kind of stylized. It still works, it still looks great, but you're starting to know, okay, this doesn't look realistic. And if the distance from here to the bottom lid is any more than 30%, it is getting into the cartoon, manga, stylized way of drawing eyes and falls out of the realistic category. And the way you can test this is you can just keep dropping the eye lower and lower and lower. And you know that if you drew a realistic eye right here, you'd say, well, it's not realistic. It has to be up here somewhere. So if the distance from here to here is more than 30% of the total distance from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose, once it's past 30%, you are in cartoon mode, okay? And I hadn't done as much measuring back when I did these original sketches. I knew they kind of looked cartoony, but now I've done much more measuring. I have studied so many faces, and let me see if I can show you. You know, even before I did this video, I studied many faces and did the ratio from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the eye and the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. I've studied so many faces and done so many measurements that I'm pretty confident in the percentages that I'm giving you if you want to make realistic faces. So I recommend always study the real thing. Get lots of references, do lots of measuring, and again, if somebody has another way to measure these things and you feel there's a better way or a different way or I'm wrong, send me a comment. Let's have a discussion. Okay. So here's my advanced nose shape, the Super M right there. Okay, and then, yeah, so from here to here is 32% of the distance from here to here. And that's why this character is looking stylized. But hopefully that gives you some ideas of how to think about drawing faces. And one thing I want to do in this series is to do a sketch at the end of each video. And so I'm going to try and copy this face, or not copy it, but I'm just going to try and do a version. But I'm not going to do a lot of measuring here. I'm just going to hand draw it. Freehand draw it. So get my 3 areas here. Try and make them pretty equal. Maybe that's slightly a bit bigger, but whatever. And go like that. Give myself a center line. Turn the page so I can draw a reasonably straight line. There we go. That is straight. Okay. All right. I like to make squares or squarish That gives me an average width of a face, like that. Okay, we got something to work with here anyway. I think this area is bigger than the other two, but hey, that's going to create an interesting character. So let's place those eyes in the right place. If I divide everything into quarters, we know the width of the nose is 1/4 of this whole distance. So we know the nose will be in here. And if I just draw a triangle, now I have a placeholder for the nose. And if I divide the distance from the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose in quarters, then I know that my ratio from the eyebrow, let's put in the eyebrows here like that. There we go. I know the ratio from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom lid of the eye, we'll make this the bottom lid of the eye, is going to be about 25% the distance from the bottom of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. Let's put in those number 6s here. Let's put in the super M like that. And there we go. Okay, now we can put in our eyes. Like that. There we go. Something like that. Put in the eyelid fold like that. And I'll just use my placeholder slashes here like that. We can get into the eyes later. Okay, cheekbones like that. Okay, from here to, let's say, about here, is that equal? Let's do a quick measurement. Not bad. Halfway is here, so then the mouth opening is going to be about here. Put in the flattened diamond like so, and then we can carve out the mouth depending on the style we want. Okay, the jaw comes in at the mouth line here like that. And there we go. Okay, now let's do the top of the head. Top of the head is about 1/3 the distance of any of these areas, so about this much here. And then the width of the back of the skull is a little wider than the front of the skull, so we'll do that. Ears start at the top eyelid, and I'll just do something like that. Out, back down, in a little bit, and though there's many shapes of ears, and we'll talk about that in an ear video, I'm just going to do this for now. Okay, I can do my number 5, boom, 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 like that. 1, 2, 3, there we go. All right, so looking good. Put a neck on this character here, like that. And what else do we want to do? Let's do the bridge of the nose. Bridge of the nose, deepest point is in line with the top eyelid. So that's where I'm going to stop it like that. And we could even put in, well, I won't waste too much time there, the bottom ledge of the eyelid. Let's put in the iris close to the upper lid, but not touching the upper lid, like that. And now we can round out the iris like this. Okay. Put in a little shading on the side of the nose, just for fun. Okay, like that. We can do those rhythm lines like this. There we go. And now let's do the hairline. So we create the sideburns, just come in a little bit, just a little sliver. Then when we get up over the eyebrow, we curve it in a little bit, go back out. And this one here, I'm just going to do a hairline like this, just an arc like that. Come in back over the eyebrow, come back out to the ear, and just do a little sliver of a sideburn like that. Okay, that's looking good. So that's all those features we talked about. And as you can see, it's a lot of fun and works well. You can do things really quick. want to shade in the top lip, shade in under the nose. You can create a lighting source maybe coming down from the top left. So we'll have some shading under the chin like that. But that's all there is to it. So I hope you enjoyed this first installment of my sketchbook series. I'm going to go over all the stuff I've done in years past and look at my good, bad, and ugly. And we'll connect in the next video. And that's it.